Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Gallowgateshots FPL Show. I'm Matt.
And I'm Daniel.
We are back. Now, we're going to be putting 2 episodes out this week, just because we've missed FPL so much. But mostly because Newcastle United are kind of a hot topic at the minute. It's never happened before, really. So we're going to jump on that bandwagon, get in while the iron's hot. And we're going to start off by talking about Newcastle United players. Does that sound good?
Sounds good to me.
Yeah, so before we get started, I just want to say make sure that you are subscribed to the Gallowgateshots YouTube channel. It's not just FPL content. There's also a wide range of fantastic stuff like match previews and the Over Smiling Faces podcast and much, much more. So subscribe so you can see when new videos come out on the channel. Like this video as well. If you do enjoy it, it just helps obviously point other people in the direction of this video and helps us out massively. Thanks very much. So, Dan, just a few headline statistics for you. We're sitting third in the league, right, on 30 points. We've got the joint best defence in the league with the current league leaders in Arsenal, right? And we've only lost 1 bloody game. Is that going to continue?
Robbed. Well, bloody robbed as well, Matthew.
Robbed. Absolutely robbed. Dirty scouse buggers. Anyway, I mean, the word, like, to be fair...
Is that the first time you've ever refrained from swearing on this podcast?
I think so, yeah. Actually, I don't know why I did that. That was like,
yeah.
Contained that.
Get it out. Let it out. Let it out.
I feel like I contained that quite well, to be fair.
You did.
I could feel it brewing inside me.
You can do it.
So yeah, I mean, Botman hasn't even lost a game when he's played.
He hasn't.
Like, that's insane. Like, for a player to have played, I think he's been here for 174 days, and he still hasn't lost a game. My big question is this going to continue, or are we going to see even a slight decline? Because surely we can't keep this form that we've had for this calendar year. Surely isn't going to continue, or is it?
Well, as far as like underlying stats and stuff go, it's not like, you know, we're conceding loads of XG every game and then, you know, we're getting away with it. We are about where we're meant to be. I think we're slightly overperforming, but barely. We don't have the kindest of starts or restarts. Now that Leicester are like semi-good again. If we played them like within the first 8 weeks, that would have just been absolutely glorious. But they're looking a bit better. Hopefully, a horrible thing to say. I do appreciate this is a horrible thing to say, but hopefully Maddison's still injured.
He loves a goal against us as well, which is a fear for me.
He's quality. If you had anything about him, he wouldn't play against his future club. So that's obviously not the best of starts there. And then, you know, we've got that game against Arsenal. Could come at the right time without them having Jesus. But still, we've got some tricky fixtures coming up. So I think it is about probably maintaining the sort of unbeaten record we've got at the minute. I appreciate it's not for the whole season, but we are still unbeaten for a while. So I think it's probably trying to replicate that. Obviously, with the first bit of the season, we got that win against Nottingham Forest, and then we got loads of draws. And yet, we're still third. So I think we're going to have to be patient. We saw the other night, or last night, against Bournemouth, that it was a little scrappy at times, not free-flowing. You could see that some of the players had had a couple of weeks off, that some of them had been with the national teams. It's going to take a little bit of time. Obviously, it's just good that we got the result. That's the most important thing. Great win. And I think we outperformed the league game anyway. Didn't we draw the league game 1-1, if I'm not mistaken?
Yeah, I think so.
So it's not like it was any worse than the first time we played them. With the way that they like to sit back. Some of the players had some good games. Some you can tell are a bit rusty. But it was a nice way to get off to that. And hopefully Leicester aren't up to too much. But I think there's no reason for me to believe that we're going to fall off. There's no reason for me to believe that at all. I don't like I say, I think the most important thing is over probably the next 5 or 6 weeks is to try and remain unbeaten, opposed to go out and, you know, win every game. And with that, hopefully the momentum and the belief stays there long enough for us to get that rhythm going again that we had, particularly towards the end of the first part of the season. I keep on going to say last season, but just obviously before the break. I believe that we can stay around there. I think anything fifth and above is delighted territory. Like Europa League and better, absolutely delighted. Europa Conference is just well done, lads. But I think fifth and above for me is where I think we should be aiming for, especially when you see some of the state of the other teams.
Exactly, and I think any sensible Newcastle fan would have probably said, like, any European competition, I'll snap your hand off. Like,
eighth and above,
100%, yeah, eighth and above, absolutely delighted. Do half decent in a cup, which it looks like. I mean, getting to a quarter final is decent. Is that a cup run? Arguably so. I think
for us it is.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
The only decent cup run we've had, I think, in my adult life is being, ironically enough, under Steve Bruce, where I think we got to the quarterfinals. Was it the season before
Man
last?
City, wasn't it? Was it Man City? But it was.
It was the season where I think Maximan scored that winner against Oxford, and the kid in the crowd got his dick out and started windmilling, which rightfully so, because it's the furthest we've ever got. Well,
yeah,
you know what I mean? It's
absolutely.
probably the furthest we've got in about 20 years.
I think that picture's ingrained in my mind, to be fair. Like, literally, impossible to forget. Impossible to forget.
I have it framed on my bedroom wall.
Nice.
I'm a sick man. Yeah, like, obviously we're spoiled, I think, as kids. 2 finals in a row. I think we even got like a semi-final and then got knocked out in the semi-final off Chelsea, if I'm not mistaken. I think that was for the last game at the Old Wembley, I think it was then. So there was like 2 finals and a semi all in a row. And then since then, it's just, we're always getting knocked out in the 3rd or 4th round, don't we? So,
yeah, like religiously, it's almost common practice, isn't it?
Yeah. So we'll just sack this off. We'll try not to get relegated.
Yeah.
Jobs are good in.
I think
seems to be different. It's good.
Yeah, I think our success, I was going to say second half of the season, but it's not. Our success rests on how well we cope with teams adjusting to the way we play. So
yeah,
I think it's obvious that we're not in a false position. Teams are going to see us as a very good side as opposed to a team that they can go and beat. So are going to probably modify their tactics in doing so. So a lot of teams are going to do what, for example, Bournemouth did in the cup. They're going to sit back and try and hit us on the counter. Now, we've got to hope and pray that we are good enough and like quick on the ball enough to actually break through their lines and actually get some shots away, because I know it was the cup. I know they've had a long break, but one thing that I noticed was there wasn't that, like, we weren't having that many shots on goal. Although we had all the possession, we were dictating play. We weren't really that penetrative.
Great word. Great word, Matt.
Yeah, hey, I've swallowed a dictionary.
I was going to say, you got that from your big word book, didn't you?
I did indeed. I mean, I didn't say it properly, but I got there. So yeah, I think as long as we can adjust to that, and people coming, like teams coming to St James's Park and sitting deep and trying to frustrate and annoy the crowd, I think we'll be absolutely fine. I think we'll continue towards top 4. Now, one thing that I did look at, and it's quite interesting. So I looked at the top 8-ish, their joint FPL price. So I've accumulated their starting 11's FPL price. So totaled them all together, just to kind of see where the league should be in terms of what the prices are. Okay. So, for example, your normal team, like your normal top teams, like the usual suspects, Man City, their total's 82.4 million. And then you've got Liverpool in second with 77.3. Then we are like 7th in terms of the value of our squad, like that, the value that we can, like, so we've got some bargain players in our team, 60.9 million. So even though we're in 3rd, still doing well, we've still got lots of players who you can hop on who have got quite decent value and aren't overpriced. Whereas the likes of Spurs, 72.9, that'll be because obviously they've got Kane and Son and Kulusevski and people like that. We don't really have anybody who's priced that highly apart from arguably Trippier.
Yep.
So the big argument for people who's considering Newcastle assets and whether to take the risk of a triple up, we're in 3rd place, but we've got the 7th highest value priced squad.
Yeah.
So there is loads of value. Now, what do you think our strongest lineup would be then? So based on this, for people who aren't familiar with Newcastle United or are a bit unsure about which players to go for, who would you say is the starting 11 if everyone's fit?
Oh, goodness me, that's quite difficult.
Just to put you on the spot.
That is quite difficult. So obviously Pope's the goalkeeper, Trippier's right
Yep.
back, Dan Burns left back, centre backs Botman and Cher.
Why did you laugh there? Why did you laugh?
Just wanted to go into the tactics of Trippier bombing on while Dan Burns hooks in, mate. Running joke. I'll then go with the forwards. It's Miggy Almiron on the right. It's Alan St-Maximin on the left with Wilson through the middle. And then you've just got a group of midfielders. So Bruno is 100% nailed.
Yeah.
Then you've got Willock, Shelvey, Longstaff and Joe Linton. Basically 4 of them fighting for 2 spots. I think Shelvey's probably bottom of that list.
Agreed. Yeah.
And then I think it depends on your opponent. In my opinion, I think Joe Linton and Willock would be the best midfield 3 with Bruno.
Yeah, I've got that written down here.
And
Absolutely.
if you were to change one, I'd say weirdly you'd probably change Joe Linton for Longstaff, purely because of how much energy Longstaff has. Bit of an unsung hero at times. I actually think the unsung hero of our team for the first half, maybe not the full first half of the season, but certainly like the last 6 or 7 games, is Joe Willock. Absolutely outstanding. And if Conor Gallagher can get an England call-up, I don't understand why Joe Willock can't, because he played him off the park against Chelsea in that 1-0 win. He was our best player by a mile that game. Regardless of his goal, he scored an absolute peach of a goal. But if you took that goal away and we drew 0-0, he was still the best player on the pitch. And I think the breaks probably affected him the most. But 4.9 million, is he?
Yeah.
Nearly got a ghost goal last night.
Yeah, we're jumping ahead slightly to certain assets that we think are probably under the radar. But like you say, 4.9, I think Joe Willock, for reasons we'll come on to, is probably a very, very good option, because I do think I would say he's borderline nailed as well. I think Kyle loves him. I think what he brings to the side is crucial. To be honest, he sometimes has a bit poor decision making, or sometimes like at crucial moments his pass goes a bit astray. But ultimately the guy's brilliant on the ball and carrying it forward.
Yeah, he gets us from A to B real quick. He was so good against Man City as well. Obviously, St-Maximin got all the plaudits. But there was one point where he carried that ball from our 18-yard box and got fouled halfway into their half. I was like, how quick is he? Even St-Maximin in an interview recently, when asked, was like, oh, who's the best dancer? Who's the comedian? Who's the quickest? Who's the most skillful? For the most quick player, you went, it's either me or Joe Willock.
See, that's surprising, isn't it?
And he's rapid. When you watch him, he is absolutely rapid.
He doesn't look like a fast runner. Like, when people like the traditional year 5 100-meter sprint on sports day, like if you move your arms fast enough, it's going to make it go quicker. Like Joe Willock doesn't look like he's moving fast, but then you see him running alongside somebody else and he beats them more often than not.
Legs like a gazelle.
100%. And I remember the big talk when England played France is Walker going to be able to be strong enough against Mbappe with his pace? And any Newcastle fan who watched that Man City game knew that was an categorical no, because they've all seen Joe Willock absolutely blister past Walker. So that was absolutely not. So yeah, a big fan of Joe Willock as an FPL option. I think for because he's so cheap, that there's an opportunity there. I think, especially with that kind of 5th midfielder slot kind of up for grabs. So talking of assets, then I think we agree on the strongest lineup there. Notice, I mean, did you mention Isak? Would
No,
you say
because he's not.
Isak's...
He's not in the. He's not in the strongest. He's not in the strongest 11.
So he doesn't go. So when he's fit, you don't think he's going in ahead of Wilson?
No, unless Wilson's not fit.
Which,
But
I mean, highly likely.
Yeah, by the time Isaac's fit, Eddie Howe's been proven that he will stick with players that he trusts and that have served him well. We've bought Isak for years and years to come. He's not gonna, and especially coming back from injuries, absolutely no need to rush him. He'll probably get time off the bench when the game's a bit stretched. Obviously, Wilson is a player that he likes to bring off after about 70 minutes anyway. And instead of bringing Chris Wood on, he'll probably bring Isak on. Miggy cannot play every game on the right. At the minute, we've obviously got Jacob Murphy that can play there, Ryan Fraser that can play there. Sam Maxman's obviously playing on the left, and those two can also play on the left. But then Joe Linton's probably the best left winger other than Sam Maxman. And I do think those two will rotate anyway. I think that's a good thing about Joe Linton. He'll either play central midfield or he'll play left wing. And he's not a massive goal threat off the left. I think he might have bagged a couple in the mid-season friendly in the Saudi Arabian Cup, which we are now glorious champions of. Obviously, best club team in the land, in the whole of the Middle East, really. So
the biggest trophy that was lifted, over the space of that last couple of weeks or so.
100%. I heard Messi was really jealous, and he actually wanted to win that one. So
he'll have to come and join us next year when his contract expires.
Yeah, 36-year-old Messi playing for the Toon. With them, but yeah, we have so much ability to rotate. I think Eddie Howe might want to try these rumours that Isak can play on the wing. Whether he can or he can't, I personally not seen it. I think it's just more people saying, a bit like how people think Kyle Walker can play right-sided centre-back in a 5, or that Fabian Schär could play holding midfield, when neither of them can. It's just like, oh, they've got some of the attributes to do it. It's like, yeah, but it's elite football. Like, these are elite professional athletes. Like, the finest of margins in to a point, like, obviously we saw in the World Cup, keep us rolling the ball with, like, the finest of margins, sports science, everything is conducted, and people just think, oh yeah, he's got a few of the similar attributes, so you'll probably just be able to swap them around.
Yep.
I'll believe it when I see it.
It just reeks of people who like have played too much FIFA and tried it out where it's like, oh, he's got loads of pace, we'll stick him on the wing and see if he does a job. And because they've won a game of FIFA 4-1 online and Isak scored, he should be able to play in real life. Which in that case doesn't work that way.
Exactly. In that case, just bring back Adam Armstrong, play him as a right forward. 50 goals a season for me on FIFA. Like
it's a blast from the past.
Life isn't FIFA. So yeah, I think like I said, it's not to say that absolutely not categorically not saying he cannot play on the wings. I've never seen it. So we'll put him as a striker. You'll probably get game time then. And if we are going far into cup competitions, Wilson is not playing every game. It's an absolute matter of fact. He's going to get plenty of game time, but Callum Wilson is the one he trusts. Callum Wilson is the one with the outstanding goal scoring record in the league. And Eddie Howe won't give a monkey's chuff about how expensive he was. Bruno was 40 million, and I think he got 5 minutes for about 8 games in a row.
Yeah, because that was when Shelvey, Willock, and Joe Linton were absolutely like amazing for those 8 games. I think it was, wasn't it?
Yeah, Botman didn't start this season. Botman didn't play the first few games. He waited until Matty Targett started underperforming, then moved Darnburn to left back to put Botman in because Matty Targett was underperforming. So Eddie Howe is very much a manager that waits for. He trusts these players, and the ones that have done well, he will back and he'll show confidence in. And then once they consistently underperform, that's when he'll start making more long-term changes. I don't think he's going to say, oh, you're 70 million, therefore have to play. Because it's not 70 million. It gets amortized across his contract. It's like, what? Yeah. How long got him for? 6 years or something, daft?
Yeah.
So it's like 11 and a half, 12 million or whatever, man. 12 and a bit million. That's sort of this season's pot for his transfer fee. But we've got him for the next, 5.5 years. That's why we've got him. It's not to shoehorn him in now and money. And I don't think the owners will push him. The owners won't have a say. I don't think they'll be like trying to push Eddie Howe. There's not like the type of gaffer that would put up with that. So yeah,
I think if things weren't going well, and they were splashing the cash, they might have more of a say. I actually like. I mean, I might get pelters for this, but I do think if things were going badly, they would be like standing on the like training ground, going, "Oh, why is he not playing? Like he
Do you
cost a
reckon?
tiny bit." Honestly, I do think so. But luckily, it's not happened. We're doing really, really well,
Yeah.
and long may it continue. Who would be your top three assets then to own? Because obviously we can only own three. We're mint. There's lots of good options. Who would be your top three? I think there's an obvious one.
Yeah, Miggy,
That wasn't the obvious one that I was thinking of. Like
Trippier.
Yeah, that was mine. Yeah.
I think Trippier's number one. He's expected ownership's going to be massive.
Yeah.
He gets in the bonus every week. He gets assists. We've got I think you said at the beginning, we've kept the most clean sheets in the league. Is that right?
Yeah, joint most with Arsenal.
So he's not that expensive. It's not like he's Cancelo or Trent or Robertson or anything. Even I don't think it was even Reece James' price. So like, get him in. I think he's the must. I think he's the essential. I know it's a naughty, dirty word, but like he's the one really. Every defense should have him, even just as a shield. Because if you don't have him and he goes off, you're knackered. And he does.
Yeah.
And even when we concede a goal, he gets in the bonus. It's weird.
Yeah, and I think because he's on set pieces, even though if that clean sheet went in the first minute, which is unlikely because we're mint, but if that was to happen, there's every chance that he scores a free kick or like pings in across to get like even a consolation. Like he's so high up the pitch. Like there was a point in the Bournemouth game in the cup where he was literally like the highest person up the pitch. Like there was an over the top through ball, and he was the one running onto the end of it, like running into the box.
It's because Dan Burn took us into it 3 minutes. That's why.
So I have heard that's the case. Like there's some eagle-eyed tacticians in our Newcastle United FPL WhatsApp not WhatsApp group, in our Twitter groups, who do know this and have lots of in-depth conversations.
Every time.
It's almost daily, isn't it?
Daily basis we talk about this.
Dan Burn drops in to make the back three and Trippier can bomb on. So yeah, if you didn't know that, now you do. I'm sick of hearing it.
I'll never be sick of hearing it. What also you getting distracted there, but he creates more chances than any other defender in the league. I think he's up there with attacking midfielders and stuff with his chance creation. So you've got a defender creating that many chances, bonus magnet. So him, Nick Pope and Almiron are probably the three.
Nick Pope, would you say he's?
Yeah, just because it's another way into the Newcastle defence. I think some people struggle with goalkeepers. Whenever we struggle, he makes the most saves. We've got the best, we've kept the joint most clean sheets. He's cheaper than other keepers. I'm not going for him. I think I'm going for 2 Newcastle players in my team. And one of them's Punty. One of them's the next question, which is
nice,
undervalued. But then obviously Miggy's the highest performing midfielder in the league in terms of points.
Yep.
Probably in terms of performances, why not? Like he's so good. He's been absolutely fantastic. Wasn't very good against Bournemouth, bless him.
He was. Do you know what though? He's massively like overperforming his XG, like hugely. Yeah. I think everybody's waiting for him to like revert back to type, and I don't see it. I just think he's high on confidence. He's like everything he touches. I mean, not everything because we saw the that Bournemouth highlight.
Yes.
But, he was trying to pull that back though to Willock. That wasn't a shot.
It wasn't. It was a shot.
It wasn't
absolutely a shot. It was his body language is a shot, and he's all left foot and it came off his right. It's absolutely. What he's done is he's got the ball's come here. I'm just going to stick my foot at it, and hopefully it goes in, and we'll see what happens.
But I refuse to believe that.
It was 100% a shot.
These body positions turned and you can see that Wilson's running onto it as if it's. I mean, I don't know why he wouldn't shoot. I'm just trying to give him a bit more benefit of the doubt.
Well, I don't bother. I don't care that it was a shot. It doesn't bother me at all. I'm not like, I literally don't care. I'm just, it definitely was a shot, but it doesn't. I don't
I
mind.
actually think my right foot is better than Almiron's right foot at like kicking a
Probably is.
football. Yeah, and
He's just all
I'm
left. That's
shite.
the thing.
Like I'm shite.
The key is that his left foot is better than your right foot. That's the key.
I think yeah, and he's probably a little bit more fitter than me.
I was just about to say his fitness, probably quicker, more intelligent on the field.
How
Yeah, not
dare
as
you?
handsome, no, Matt. Not as handsome. Nowhere near as handsome as you. So
He's
I
got a
think you'd sell
glorious
more shirts. I think you should. I think you'd sell more shirts.
thanks. He's got a glorious smile. But
He
let's
does. He's got
face
a
it.
lovely smile. Lovely,
Um,
very contagious smile.
do you know what? He could have been like shit for the whole time he was here, and he would have been like well remembered for like just
He,
always being happy. Like even if we'd never had a takeover and he like left last year, which it was, I think there was talk of that, wasn't there? He was like proper unhappy
yeah, he
and he was
wanted.
going to
Was
go,
going
he
to
was
go to
going to go.
Atletico Madrid.
Um, and he would have probably been like fondly remembered. Like, but it's nice that it's turned out really well for him. To be
Yeah,
fair,
he's just he's like Ronaldinho, but with nicer teeth, isn't he? There's always
essentially,
big. He just needs to grow his hair long. Players like Ronaldinho.
there's some fairly like big differences between the two, but I see where you're coming from.
I can't see any.
So anyway, to mention Nick Pope, right? I would argue there's better value in our defence. So we'll go because we're going to do another episode
Yeah.
talking about the wider scope of FPL and things like
The
that.
question is though, Matt. The question is, it's not about is the better value in our defence. It's can you not have defenders from other teams? Because what goalkeepers do you want other than Danny Ward?
Uh,
Because he's turned into a monster for 4.1 million or whatever it is. But it's about obviously we only have so many positions, so many players per position. Do I want to use up another defensive spot on Newcastle in terms of defenders when I can get the double up from a goalkeeper and a defender? And
but what
then
about
Danny Ward's, let's be honest, at 4.1, he's a 4 million goalkeeper. So if you
yeah?
want to rotate, you can, and we'll get tough fixtures.
If I wanted Kepa Arrizabalaga, right?
Beautifully pronounced.
Hey, I'm good. So, solid a dictionary, and I've been practicing my enunciation. Hey, new year, new me. Not even new year yet.
It's not even New Year yet,
So,
early start.
no, yeah. So, if I wanted him, right, who's like 4.5 million, that so I could have Sven Botman for 4.4 million, and that saves me some major cash to put into my team elsewhere. Obviously, we're going to talk about Chelsea and everyone else
The thing is
after
with
this.
Sven Botman, all he's getting is clean sheets. He's not getting a goal.
He's massive. He's going to get
He's
a header at
mint.
some point.
He's absolutely mint at football. He's
Beautiful.
unbelievable. Like I cannot believe that we've got him. Honestly, he's so good. I think
Yep.
of all the players in our team, he's the one that's going to be world class for his position. I mean, obviously there's Bruno as well, but I think Botman for his age and how he's playing, just cannot believe the Dutch didn't take him to the World Cup.
He's our Vincent Kompany, I think. Like to what
so
Kompany was to Man City, I think
Yeah.
he's going to be that. I think he's future captain material. I think.
It's just he's not getting. I don't think he gets that many bonus. I don't think he gets many. He's not going to get attacking returns, in my opinion. Everything seems to go via Dan Burn.
Apologies.
I'll say that again. We'll cut that out. Sorry, me and Matt are both ill. What was I saying?
Botman
all right,
doesn't get much.
So from set pieces, we always target Dan Burn, and then Dan Burn will try to get his head on it to put it back across goal or to put it towards goal. It doesn't really work very well for how big he is. But we don't really target Botman from set pieces. So I don't think that he's an amazing pick. I think he's an all right pick. Whereas Nick Pope gets loads of save points. If we play badly, he gets save points. That's the difference. I think if we play well and we keep a clean sheet, him and Botman will probably get the same amount of points. If we play badly and keep a clean sheet, Pope will get more. And if we play badly and don't keep a clean sheet, Pope will get more. that's where I'm at with that. But yeah, I'm not getting Pope or Botman. I'm getting Trippier in one of them. Oh yeah, I'm not getting Almiron. For people that maybe are new to this, just to recap, I had Miggy Almiron from the very start. Didn't really do much. Outperformed Leon Bailey in every aspect and Pedro Neto. So I was gleeful over that for the points gains there. I benched him for Man City when he scored. Put him back in. Didn't do anything. Sold him a couple of weeks later, and thus started his goal scoring run. So I will not.
We've got you to thank for that, really, haven't we?
It is down to me. I will set my Patreon to accept all your money. It's basically me why we're third in the league. Nothing to do with Eddie Howe's coaching. Nothing to do with the players. Certainly nothing to do with Mickey. So you're welcome. But for the glory of Newcastle supporters, I will not bring Miguel Almiron back into my team. I will not jinx him in any way, shape, or form. I promise you. So whether he could score every game for the rest of the season, I'm not going to bring him back in. And someone else I'm not going to bring in is Callum Wilson, because I think I did jinx him as well by bringing him in. But also, we don't really we're not a team that's designed to create that many chances for him. We've got inverted wingers. Miggy wants to come in and shoot. Maximan wants to come in and shoot. You just try to be a little bit less greedy these days. But I don't think we're a team that gives Wilson loads of chances. I just think he's an elite forward that will make the best of a bad situation, or maybe not having many chances. Feeds off scraps a little bit. I'd say that's something that we should probably improve on as a team.
Agreed. Yeah,
creating chances for him.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, Wilson was third, so for me, behind Trippier and Almiron, Wilson was third on my kind of top three to own, just purely because we've when he's fit, he's like our go-to guy. I think. I mean, he's got the most goals. You see, we don't make chances for him. The guy still seems to get a fair few goals and contributes massively. He's only 8.6% owned as well. So there is an opportunity with fixtures against Leicester, who are a little bit leaky defensively. I mean, Ward was terrible at the World Cup. Leeds at home. Then we've got Arsenal away, which isn't exactly the best. Fulham at home, Palace away, West Ham at home, and then Bournemouth away. So some iffy fixtures in there, but based on the way that we are performing, I think there's every chance for Wilson, as long as he's fit, to get amongst the goals. But should we move on to some punty punt face?
Yes.
So, who do you reckon would be a good notable mention for?
I think the two punts are Sam Maximan. Now, Sam Maximan is someone that you'd want to play every game. You kind of want to try and away fixtures when other teams will come out and play us, and he'll be dynamite on the counter, so the space, or against teams that don't play like a super low block. So you don't want to have him against Bournemouth and teams like that. I think Fulham might be all right, even though that's at home. Fulham at home, yeah.
Fulham like an attack, don't they? They like to go.
Yeah, they're not really very good at just sitting there. So yeah, I think obviously we've had Palace at home, wouldn't be great, but Palace away, I think they'll come out and play us. So those types of fixtures I think are good for ASM. But I think for the money, I've already said him, Joe Willock at 4.9. He just started to get his groove back in those last 7 games, but he started getting a few attacking returns as well towards the end. I thought the break came at the wrong time for him. But he's your fifth midfielder. If you don't want Andreas Pereira, or you can even have Pereira and him and go for like a 4-3-3 or a 5-3-2. He allows you to get another premium in your team. And I think lots of teams are now going to try and double up on Miggy. I think they're going to try and expend a lot of energy doubling up on Miggy and doubling up on Sam Maximan on the other side. And it's just going to be chaos in the middle. And again, for those teams that we look to counter-attack on, and for those teams that maybe we're playing away from home, I think he's going to be brilliant.
So yeah, I think with Willock, one of the things that I've noticed and something that I'd read from I think the account's WI Scout, which is Kev Lawson, which is a really handy Twitter account to follow. Does lots of stats which are now appearing on Newcastle United's official website.
Yeah.
He's pointed out that when Joel Linton is playing as a left winger and Willock's playing as a left-sided centre mid, they often swap positions. So throughout the game, they'll like take turns at being the left winger almost. When you look at the average positions when they play together, they're practically on top of each other, like because that role's swapping that much. So it's probably handy to know, although you're never going to be able to predict when Joe Linton's starting as a left winger, but it's good to know that Willock isn't just a sitting central midfielder. He is getting forward.
He's not.
He's ploughing down the left and carrying the ball forwards. Like against Rayo Vallecano, nearly slipped up with my enunciation there. He won the pen for Chris Wood, like charging into the box.
Yeah.
So.
And he nearly got a goal. Oh no, that was against Bournemouth, wasn't it? He had his ghost goal.
Yeah. So, which was totally wrong to be cancelled out, by the way. That was an outrageous decision. But the other person, we're just really, really dependent on what we do in January. If we sign a defensive midfielder, Bruno is an absolute must-buy. It's 5.7 million. Against Bournemouth, he was just dictating everything, like just on the edge of the box. Annoyingly, he wasn't shooting that much. Like he wasn't taking many shots, but everything was going through him. And if we are against teams with a low block, he's just going to be there on the edge of the box. Like he'll be great for assists. Now, but that all depends on what we do with our centre midfield, really.
He gets loads of assists from Miggy anyway, doesn't he?
Yeah,
lifting it over to him.
They've got a good understanding, haven't they?
Yeah, it's the South American factor.
Absolutely. So yeah, I think that's it, mate, for Newcastle United. Anyway, we are going to plough on to do a FPL Game Week 17 preview after this. So if you've watched this and you've enjoyed it, we have got a Game Week 17 preview coming up. If you've enjoyed this episode, please give it a like. Subscribe to the Gallowgateshots YouTube channel for more amazing content around Newcastle United. And yeah, we'll see you next time.
See you later, everyone.
Bye.